Yeah, we made a list of like demands.
There were supposed to be like demands in this like hysterical voice, but then like also things that you were like, but that's actually kind of reasonable.
Very moderate,
like just
reasonable
like
demands.
Slightly cheaper SMS messaging.
On one hand, we see all these like new technologies and the promise of transcendence, but then there's such a big chance that all of civilization is going to be kind of destroyed, or at least like...
Or it feels like there's a chance towards it. In the end, probably nothing happens, cool or bad. We met in school in Chicago.
It was a really weird story, actually. Like our professor there, he pulled me aside and he just kind of randomly described like his working process and my working process, but we had never worked together, but as kind of being the opposite. And it was sort of him being kind of brash, I guess, and me being overly cautious. Yeah, it forces you to be able to communicate your ideas, and you can't kind of hide behind the like, oh, I like it, it's me. And it's, so yeah, again, like it allows us to kind of move beyond our individual egos and yeah, decide what is best for the piece. It was really kind of eerie how it was predicted by this professor of ours.
That's true. Like when I meet people and they say, oh, I really like Aids-3D, sometimes it's as if it's a separate thing, and I actually don't feel like they're talking to me at all. Like, and I can comfortably be like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad you like Aids-3D, like that thing out there, and it doesn't affect Nick Cosmos. So this is our office where we do a lot of deep thinking. It's under construction though, because we're expanding it. We're gonna make it bigger. So. Actually, I would say most of the time when I hear other people talking about our work, they seem to get it because we really put a lot of work in making things like packaged and understandable. And so like with the OMG obelisk at the new museum, we have this really simple message in this really simple form, and then just like they combine together and you can't really miss it. It was also a good example of an early strategy for us, which was to make things that looked good in photos and looked good like translated to the internet at a much smaller resolution, and then something that basically didn't exist in real life, because I mean it was made out of styrofoam and knock it over like that. And actually, yeah, the new museum rebuilt it, and it was cool. They rebuilt it exactly as we asked, kind of, but we didn't really know what to ask for because we didn't want to ask for something that was as terrible physically as it was before. So it was kind of a weird like purgatory for the thing, actually. And it's not offensive, but it's just loud.
My mother, she's has like a part-time job. She's a branding consultant, and so she has this software. I don't actually know what it's called exactly, but it's some sort of like database amalgamation kind of thing. And well, we were like kind of wanted to make a name that described our interest in technology, and then also this sort of like social activism, political element. And that was just sort of what the computer came up with, and we liked it because it was, well, potentially offensive, but also, you know, AIDS has this double meaning where, you know, it could be, you know, help. Yeah, and so we definitely want to make controversy if it means like discussion.
With the World Community Grid Water Features series, we started out with this idea of putting computers inside of sculptures, and as a way to like justify them, basically, as some way of feeling that art doesn't do anything in a really concrete sense compared to science and technology. So to take your useless art object and then your extremely useful and also very dense, like efficient computer, you can just kind of slip a computer into a sculpture. There's lots of space. We had that idea as a kind of an overall thing, and then it took us a long time of like, okay, what if it was this form? What if it was that form? Like maybe 6 months of just like doodling and talking, and then finally we're just, oh, okay, that, ready-made, found it from the internet, ordered, computer, finished. The social activism thing came in the beginning when we were looking for content, kind of. We were just basically doing performances, and we were doing these dance performances, and we were taking Wikipedia articles on global warming or protein folding and then just like spectacularizing them, and it was kind of like social activism that you don't quite exactly know if you're like, is it seriously so?
So sort of like, how do you deal with these big issues when art is totally useless other than maybe to communicate, but even then, it's like you don't want to be didactic, right?
Or you can, who are you communicating to anyways,
Yeah.
because like who actually follows art is like a very small little niche
super
thing,
marginal
if you want it.
thing. So. And right now, I mean, the art market hasn't fully collapsed yet, but I don't really expect it. No, it's an irrational market. It's a big bubble, just like housing or anything else. And it's even more irrational because there's absolutely no objective standard of quality or anything. And so, I mean, we're aware of that. I don't know. One thing definitely is going to happen is like a widening gap between like the rich elite and like the poor people, and you already see
even
that.
like a biological gap too. Like you have these people like this Silicon Valley, like people who are really into supplements and like genetic modification, and like they're going to turn into basically post-humans. Like that's not going to take very long. They're going to have thought control things and like kind of transhumans and cyber people.
Yeah, but we're definitely not into this like die young kind of thing. I think that's really old-fashioned and like this kind of romantic.
And not like tortured artists that need to like, get it out so bad. I mean, like we enjoy spreading ideas.
Cliche for
yeah,
sure.
it's boring.
Oh, I don't know that our generation is like, I hope, moving away from this kind of
rock and roll, like bad attitude.
Yeah,
kind
I just
of thing.
think that's really
it's boring.
passe. I don't know. There's like
it's also like saying fuck you. It's just like, don't you have more creative things to say? Like.